everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Life Abroad Panama. So, today is a very, very special episode. But first of all, I'd just like to say this season of Life Abroad Panama has been amazing, getting to interview so many versatile guests and hearing their stories. And it's just awesome hearing how you, the people who watch our videos, are really connecting to these people's stories and how they have really helped make an impact, maybe in businesses, up to other people's life, coming abroad as an expat in Panama. And I'm sure they have helped you, the viewers, in maybe not just making your decision and coming to Panama, but learning more about Panama, and learning what it is to be an expat in Panama. So yeah, today we're going to do something different. We've been listening to your comments. We've heard you all. And you have said that you would like to hear more about me. So we're going to do that just for you. So we have the lovely Alondra here with us today. And I'm going to let her take the reins. She will be interviewing me. So
plot twist, guys.
Relax and enjoy, because now you get to know about me.
Amazing. I'm going to start with the most important questions. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so if you haven't gathered already, I am very much British. I come from London, the United Kingdom, and I've grown up there my whole life. I've never ever lived somewhere else. Well, actually, I lived in Barbados when I was a very little kid. Don't remember much, but that's the only kind of real kind of expat experience.
Like abroad, yeah.
Exactly. And my family's from there, so it hasn't really been it wasn't really, I guess, anything.
You were always with them.
Exactly. I'm familiar with that place, whereas obviously now I'm in Panama. But yeah, my family's from a Caribbean background. My Spanish is near to nil, zero.
Oh my God.
It's been very interesting in coming to Panama. Yeah, I'm a young 24-year-old currently in Panama. I'm enjoying my time here. Yeah, that's just a bit about me, really.
People want to know what brought you to Panama. Tell me everything.
Yeah, that's the main question, isn't it? What brings people to Panama?
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's two main things. The first thing, I don't know if you guys remember this interview with Charlotte. This was actually the first podcast episode we did. And Charlotte was saying, "My man, this is what brought me to Panama. My man brought me." It's exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing for me.
Oh my God.
My man brought me here. I met my now husband. I met him online on Hello Talk. It's like a language learning app. And then came to meet him in person, got engaged, and then went back to England. Next time I came back, got married, went back to England, and now I'm here again, back in Panama. And yeah, as well, I did hear about Panama before through research, and when I was researching, it was saying that it was a really safe place to live.
Yeah, to travel also.
Exactly. Because I was really interested in Latin America at the time as well. So I was like, I wonder what countries can kind of offer me a cool, safe space to
safe
live.
environment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they said how modern it was as well, which I really liked. So actually, I knew about Panama before I met my husband. And the fact that he lived in Panama, I was like, actually, that's
There's
cool. I want to visit anyway. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that compare it to the U.S.
Yes.
And they see the skyscrapers and they feel amazed.
Yes.
So, yeah.
For sure. When I came, when I first saw Panama, I was in England. The buildings are high, but they're not that high. So when I saw it, I was thinking when I saw Panama City, I was like, this is like the Latin New York.
Yeah.
I was
People compare it to Miami, for example.
It was
and the weather and everything. Yeah. It's tourists really like to come over here.
I can see why, because it really does draw you in. It's I guess you can say, I don't know, not necessarily exotic, but it's I feel like it can offer you a lot of adventure, whilst being not so, well, for me, it can offer me so much adventure whilst feeling like I'm not too close to home, because that's something I wanted. I didn't want to be too close to home because I wanted to feel like I was having an adventure.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I think that's what, for me personally, I think that's what kind of intrigued me about Panama. This
Like drew
place,
you in?
yeah, like it's not so close to home, but then it's this place that kind of, it kind of feel a bit like home in terms of the infrastructure and how it looks,
Yeah.
because the high-rise buildings and stuff, and it's very modern.
And the good thing is that you were here for love. So
Exactly.
you were not alone.
I
That's
was-
something
exactly.
good.
I mean, I came to Panama by myself,
Mhm.
like without the family that I knew back in England.
Yeah.
But now that I've come to Panama, even though it's by myself, I have made my family here. With
Yeah.
my husband, his family. So yeah, now I can say I have family here.
Amazing. Something that I know is really hard because I'm an expat myself. How did you prepare to move?
Ooh. Okay, for me, I was constantly. When I tell you YouTube was my best friend, I was constantly on YouTube, sitting there.
Guys, listen up.
I was watching the videos. I was doing the research.
Investigation.
Exactly. I like every day. It was like, oh, I didn't know
How to do this and
Yeah,
this
exactly.
in Panama.
I didn't know about the I didn't at the time. I didn't know that the US dollar was a currency.
I was gonna tell you that. The
Exactly.
different currency.
I didn't know that. Obviously, I'm coming from England. It's just the pound, really.
Yeah.
So we don't have the dollar or anything, but I am familiar with the dollar. So I didn't know that the US dollar was like a thing in Panama.
Mhm.
So when I came, that was actually like really, that was quite what's the word?
Shocking.
Shocking, but it was also quite comforting knowing that actually there's something that I'm kind of familiar with here, that is secure.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that was cool to hear.
It's something that people use worldwide.
Exactly. Yeah. So I did a bit of investing whilst I was in England, like I guess like the Bitcoin and stuff. So I was familiar with the dollar. So that was nice that I had something like kind of like secure in terms of like finances. Like it's quite compatible and stuff like that. As well as that, yeah, I did a lot of research on YouTube, talked to people that were here already, obviously my now husband. And yeah, just Google is your friend.
Guys, make connections. That's really important for survival. Really important. Okay. What were your first impressions of Panama?
Ooh, I'm not gonna lie, it hit me in the face like a truck. I am not gonna lie. For me, like I said, it was a really big adventure, and I was so excited. There
Yeah.
were so many things I wanted to see, so many things I wanted to do. One of the first times I actually came to Panama, I went to Bocas del Toro, and actually for me, that was such a lovely thing to do, because I was able to see how the community was there and how welcoming Panamanians were.
Yeah.
When I first came to the city, I didn't really get to experience that much because I guess everyone's busy and stuff, but people can be welcoming. But when I went to that part of Panama, I saw really how welcoming and hospitable
Yeah.
Panamanians are. So that opened my heart up more. But for me, settling in after a couple of months, it wasn't the easiest thing because I've never been away from my family for
so long. Yeah.
by myself. Doing that by yourself, it's not an easy thing at
Yeah,
all.
I understand.
Especially with the language barrier. Like I said, my Spanish is like near to nil. Like there's barely. I'm better now, but at the time it was really like non-existent. And as well as that, I think for me as well, the thing that I really struggled with was, I know you should adapt to wherever you are,
Yeah.
but I really struggled with how slow I guess things were in England. I'm
Yeah.
used to getting things like this.
Fast. Yeah.
Exactly, very fast. But actually, I'm kind of glad that happened because it taught me really how to be patient and just to appreciate things more, because when you get things so quickly, because you become so used to it, you don't appreciate things as
Yeah.
much.
That's why also people like to move here from other countries
It's
because they're
very
so used to going fast always. They
yeah.
get tired
Yeah.
and they come here and they feel such a peace.
Yeah.
For example, you talk about Boca del Toro.
Yeah.
That is such a chill place.
It's so relaxing. Like, honestly, that's
People
one of my favorite
love
places
it.
on
That's a
earth. Yeah,
tropical paradise here.
it is.
Travelers love to be there,
Yeah,
and
for
they
sure.
they stay there a lot. So
And
if
there's
you
a
come to
really
Panama, you should visit Bocas.
definitely 100%. I've been there twice.
100%.
Both times were incredible. And also about Bocas, there's a really lovely expat community there.
Yeah,
So many
and there's a
hostels
lot
as
of people that speak English. That's
well.
also
So many
something that is very good.
Australians.
Yeah.
I saw so many
They have
Americans. as well.
businesses over there.
Yeah, they do. And the food's really good as well.
Yeah.
I remember going when I went to Bocas, I went to this food stall from this lady called Nanny. And
Shout out to Nani.
shout out to Nanny. And actually it was really cool because recently a family member went to Bocas and we were telling them about her, and actually they got to meet her for themselves, and they realized like how
Good
lovely and
it
like,
is.
she, like literally this lady, like she worked so hard, but like her fried chicken, that fried chicken,
Amazing.
so good. But one thing that I like about Panama as well is how versatile it is in terms of like you can be in the city and have a more like city vibe.
Yeah.
And you can go to Bocas and have more beach vibes, and then like you just get to experience all these different types of things in like one country. And I think that's really cool because not a lot of
And
countries offer that.
some different types of cultures. I love
Yes,
that
there's
about
like a
Panama.
big Caribbean
Yeah.
culture as well.
Caribbean,
Yeah.
there's Indian,
Yeah.
there's Chinese,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Latino. I love it.
Exactly.
Americans, so many Americans.
There's a lot.
It's crazy.
And that's the thing as well. I didn't realize before coming to Panama how diverse it was.
Yeah.
I was shocked because I was like, so many Asians,
You were
there's so many things.
you were like, am I gonna be the only black girl?
No. That was something that I wasn't sure of because I
Yeah.
was like, for me that was something that I was like, oh, like I'm not so sure, like how is it gonna be, and in terms of like meeting people that speak English as well, like how is it gonna? But actually, when you come to Panama, you realize even if people might not know your language and you don't know their language, people are still willing to help you, which I find really
Of
cool.
course.
Panamanians. And actually, it's not just the Panamanians, but it's people that live in Panama that aren't Panamanian either. Like, it's just like a kind of cultural norm here.
They're
People-
friendly.
and I love that people say things like buenas, they say hello to you. goodbye.
Everybody.
In England, it's just kind of like, you don't even say hello, you just walk past each other. But like that kind of like opens, it's just like a very open and like, it's I know it's like normal, but I feel like that's more warm
Yeah.
and it helps people feel welcome because actually people talk to each other.
Yeah.
So-
If you live in the same neighborhood, sooner or later you will be friends. And that's
true.
yeah.
I became friends with the security guard.
You see, you say hi every day. They know your
It's true.
name. They
Yeah.
ask about you.
Yeah.
How is your family? And
Yeah.
you ask about their family.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
Exactly.
It's not hard to make friends in Panama.
It's true. Because of that, people are very warm, I would say.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, what has been the biggest challenge during your transition?
Ooh.
Because Britain and Panama are two different places.
Yeah. That they're very far away from each other. as well.
Yes.
Like I said, I did touch on it a little bit. It was definitely the language. If you, well, for me, I didn't necessarily plan on coming to Panama. It just kind of happened. But I would definitely say if you know that Panama is somewhere you want to come to, definitely work on your Spanish, people. It will help you a lot. That was something that was really challenging, like, because it can be frustrating if you want to say something but you don't know how to say it, and then like your mouth kind of feels closed. But like slowly, I'm learning the language, and like even the little bit of Spanish I know,
Yeah.
you can see that people appreciate you trying to learn.
I was gonna tell you that over here we don't judge.
They
So
don't
if
judge,
you
yeah.
if you don't know a lot of Spanish, it doesn't matter.
And people will try
We-
to speak English.
Yeah, and we'll understand you. We'll understand you.
So that's really cool as well. Another challenge was like, okay, this might be so like really that's a challenge. For me it was because I'm so used to it.
Yeah.
Pavements, the sidewalks.
Pavements?
Yeah. The pavement.
What?
I'm so particular. I'm so used to walking on a pavement. So when I go to certain parts of the city that don't have pavements, I feel a bit like not so secure, because especially if a car's coming. But yeah, I think that was a challenge at first because I think as well when you're trying to settle in, you're trying to find things that remind you of home as well.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
it sounds so weird to people, but little things like I was saying to my husband, there's not many pavements in Panama. But when you come somewhere like Costa del Este, there's more pavements.
Yes.
And I feel actually
Cinta
sometimes
costera.
exactly I feel
Yes.
more secure. It sounds so weird to people, but it's true. And another thing I think for me was, like I said, things were a bit slow. That whole like mañana concept, like I'll do things tomorrow, or we'll do it later, or people don't get back to you as fast. Or even in terms of like going to professional places, sometimes it can be a bit slower than I would like.
Yeah, like you can sit down, wait.
Yeah.
We'll get back to you.
It's like, no, I want it now. But yeah, like that, I guess that's helped me to
Relax a little bit.
exactly
Yeah.
help me to relax. It teaches you to be more patient.
Yeah.
So it's not so bad, but yeah, definitely when you come to another country, you do learn how to adapt to the culture, to the people. And like anywhere you go in, like any place you go, you're gonna learn things in life. And I've learned a lot in Panama. Sure.
And you talked about your day-to-day life, and I want to know how does it compare your day-to-day life, something so personal here, and from where you were.
Yeah, so I would say that okay, in the beginning, I would say that it was a little bit hard for me to go out because I was a bit nervous. I was nervous about not knowing the language. That was the thing. I would say now though, I'm less shy, but I can still kind of be reliant on the people around me.
Yeah.
Whereas in England, I'm just like, okay, I'm going out. I would take I'd take a 2-hour train journey to the other side of London. I don't know, end up in a museum, go to the cinema by myself. Whereas in Panama, I feel like I'm more dependent on people. Like I'll say to my husband, well, can we go somewhere together? Or I'll kind of like stay in the house a bit more. Not that I'm not an introvert or anything like that, but I feel like compared to back home, not that I'm less independent, but I think it's more that I'm more dependent on people because it's more of a thing of I'm still trying to kind of navigate my surroundings and where I am. And even though Panama's kind of quite small, if you don't know the language as much or you don't know, like you're not familiar with things as much,
Yeah.
You can get a bit
A little bit, yeah.
a little bit.
But
So
Google Maps helps a
Google
lot.
Maps is your friend.
Yeah.
But I find that with Panama, a lot of things look similar. So you can think you're in one place, but you're in a different place, or you can think I've been here before. Oh yeah, I've seen that before, and it's like you haven't seen that before. So yeah, for me, I guess I would say I'm a bit more dependent on people just because I think I'm trying to protect myself a bit because I don't want to get lost. And yeah, the language.
But that is
barrier.
something good. You know, you're in a different stage of your life.
Exactly. And I'm still learning as well. So, but as well, I think another way my daily activities have changed is, like I said, I was going out more in England, and because as well like a lot of my family is still back home, and I've made friends here, but maybe not as much as back home, where people are like, let's come out, let's go this way, let's go this place. I feel like maybe sometimes I don't go out as much. I'm a bit of a homebody. So yeah, that's what I feel. But you know what? It's not a bad thing either. One thing I do love about Panama though is the apartments. Well, some of them, anyways, they have like a pool area and things. So even if you are a homebody, there's always something to do. Or they have like the communal area. So
the good thing about Panama is that wherever you go, somebody's gonna talk to you.
Yeah.
Even though if you don't understand them and they don't understand you, they try to do signs or whatever.
It's so true.
So they end up becoming your friends.
Yeah.
And they end up helping you.
That's
I've done that many times, and I've found expats from the US, from Britain, from Brazil, and they start talking to me, and I'm like, yeah, of course I can help you. Look, my name is this and that, and we exchange numbers. I'm gonna help you with these. So there's not a problem like having friends and getting connections.
Yeah.
And about getting connections, I want to know, what advice can you give people on learning Spanish? Because your Spanish was just the tiniest
it
bit,
was.
and now you can say full sentences.
I can. I'm not gonna do it, but I can.
Oh, we want to hear it. We want to hear it. Let's go. Let's
Oh,
go.
I get nervous. But I would say if you learning Spanish, everyone says download the apps and stuff, but actually when you're around, so I've had to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
I've been forced to learn Spanish because I'm around my husband and his family all the time. So I've had to figure out when you don't have Google Translate or your phone dies, you have to figure out ways to try and communicate. So I've learned through imitation.
Yeah.
Like you hear someone and then you can copy it. Or because I'm constantly around my husband, his friends, his family, I'm able to like pick up words here and there, and then I'm forced to speak in Spanish. Even though my structure might not be the best, even
You get your point across, and that's what is
exactly.
important.
I get the main point across.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, I think when you throw yourself into an environment where you're forced to learn Spanish, when I heard that before, I thought that was exaggerated, but it really is true. When you're forced to learn Spanish or another language, oh boy, you're gonna learn it. Especially if your phone's dead, you can't rely on translate.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you rely on translate, you're not gonna learn anything.
Yeah.
You're just not. It's simple as that. So you have to be willing to throw yourself into environments where you're forced to learn Spanish. Whether that's making a friend who speaks Spanish and you say, we're only gonna speak Spanish. My husband's done some situations for me where we're sitting down and he's like, okay,
Go.
only Spanish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you serious? And then he's like, I'm not gonna reply to you in English.
That's
And then
good.
you're like, oh.
Let me see. If it was the other way around, tell me you wouldn't do it.
No, I
Tell
do
me. Yeah, you do it completely.
English and but sometimes he does that. And even like my mother-in-law, she only speaks Spanish. So I'm constantly trying to find ways to communicate with her. So actually, I forced myself to end up learning.
Yeah.
And yeah, just sometimes we're at home, they'll naturally put the TV on in Spanish, or we'll watch a movie and
Or hear songs. That helps a lot.
There's a lot of music in Spanish, and he will put on a film and it's like, we're not watching it in English, we're watching it in Spanish. I'll be annoyed, but actually it helps you in the answer.
And have you tried any apps or something? I know many people that have done apps and their Spanish is really good.
I feel the thing is, like, you have to be so persevering if you're going to use
Yeah, so consistent.
Exactly. So I'm a perseverant person. I'm determined, but I know that I'm a very visual and audible learner. So I know that sometimes, for me, apps might not be the best thing necessarily because it's a lot of like reading, whereas I like to communicate with people. I'm a people
You like the practice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that I feel like the way I've approached it actually really helps for me. I think it just really more depends on what you like as well. If you like to be by yourself and you don't really want to communicate with people, use the apps. But I feel like when you're able to talk to people, you get that more authentic and raw way that people speak.
Yeah, the slang.
Exactly. Like,
oh my god, I'm so sorry. Sorry, guys.
The slang, like, for example, I've learned this from like my uncle. He said,
Que sopa. That is what's up in Panama.
Yeah, Panamanian Spanish. So like I've just had little phrases like that, and then you find yourself doing it. Even I'll give you a funny example. Even before I came to Panama, and I wasn't as around my husband's family. In England, you say oh my god, oh my gosh, or what? Now, even with my family in England, I say, ay, ¿qué pasó?
I can't. That is such a Spanish reference.
And or if I get like, but it's like really weird because like these little habits you pick up, and very Latin things, but you pick them up because you're around so many like Latin people, or like in my instance, I'm around my family a lot. So my husband's family a lot. So like these things like they might happen naturally as well. So it's just really cool to see like how that's evolved.
It's sticking, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, those are things that have happened to me, and like it's just helped me to grow in Spanish, um and I can see how my personality is forming. Even though I may not go out as much like I was in London, I feel like my personality is still developing and growing.
Yeah,
just from being in Panama,
of course.
being around like Latin people and like around Panamanian people also. Yeah.
The good thing is that you have been going around with other type of people,
Exactly.
you know,
So
different experiences,
Exactly.
different personalities.
Yeah.
That is a whole new world for you.
Oh, it's
A whole new world, yes. Guys, if you come to Panama and say que sopa to Panamanians, they're gonna love you. Okay? Yeah, they're gonna be mesmerized. They say that you are already Panamanian. Okay, something more serious.
Okay.
And something more like focused on the Panamanian world. How did you find your current home, and what was the process like?
Okay, so I know people tend to use apps like in Century 24, which is like Find 24. It's like if you're from the UK, it's kind of like a Rightmove or Zoopla. You can find rented properties on there. It's like spare room. You can find rooms on there as well. But for me, I didn't have any issues with this because my husband his family is already living in an apartment, so I just moved in with them. So actually, that process was fairly simple. They just put me on the tenancy. So yeah, if you already have family here or you have a partner here already, it's quite easy in that aspect. But it still can be easy for you to find somewhere to rent, like on these websites.
There's apps and all of that.
Exactly, yeah. And as well, what I like about Panama is, when you make connections, if you have friends here or family, even if you don't have connections, it's easy to make connections.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is a very strong thing. People speak and they say, I know this person knows this person,
Yeah.
this person.
We love that. Even I do it sometimes. Yeah.
Exactly. So
do you know this person? Yeah, of
Exactly.
course. She knows about that person and she
Exactly.
needs that thing.
Exactly. So that's just an example of how you can find a property. But as well, if you're not so confident, lawyers in general, or retailers, from like Facebook communities, they can help you find places to rent as well, or even places to buy. That's what you can do.
So, are there any unique aspects on renting in Panama compared to other countries?
Oh,
England.
100%. My family and myself, we were so surprised when we came to Panama, and we found that like your average rented apartment has a communal area, a swimming pool,
Yeah,
a
a park.
We're like, what is this? This is a new world.
So fancy.
This is fancy.
And it's fairly cheap if you come from another country.
Exactly. Like in England, the prices you would be paying for a 2-bedroom,
Yeah,
with a pool, even if it's communal, with a pool, a playground, a communal area,
or just even a barbecue space.
Yes. I'm telling you, you've been paying like $3,000, and that's pounds. Like,
What?
it's ridiculous. And then compared to the prices here, you can literally easily pay under $1,000 for
You can rent 5 places.
for a beautiful home. I cannot stress this enough. When my family
A
found
beautiful
out,
view, guys.
it's so true. And I look out my window all the time, and I show my family. It's so nice. When my family came to visit, and this is like, I guess an average apartment or something. When my family came to visit,
They were like,
wow, this even the floors, look at this. I was like, wow, oh my god. No, but
look at the wall.
But like especially that price, like that's just not happening in Europe. Not even in England, just in Europe, it's just not happening.
Guys,
unless you live in like the mountaintop in the middle of nowhere.
You see, over here you live in the city.
Yeah.
Cheap. You have a pool.
Yeah.
It's close to every place.
Yeah.
You have a beautiful view. What else do you
definitely
need?
for
Amazing.
retirees and for people looking to come, like it definitely is an attractive option because these things are so much, these costs are so much lower, especially
Yeah.
compared to back home, especially in the Western world. It's just so expensive for no reason. Like sometimes all you're paying for, like some of these half the times, like I said, like 3,000. When I say 3,000 pounds,
Yeah.
that is without booze included. So
I need to do the math to compare it to dollars because I know pounds are higher, right?
yeah, it is higher. So
Jeez.
it's ridiculous, honestly. But yeah, I can see why people are so attracted.
And if you're living alone and you don't want to rent a house, you can rent a room, and
Exactly.
it's much, much cheaper.
And actually, when I first came to Panama, I used Airbnb, found a room in, I can't remember what the area was. It was on the metro line though.
I remember.
Yeah.
It's like the woods or something.
No.
El bosque.
No, it was, I can't remember the name of the area.
Well,
When I remember the area, I'll insert it. San Miguelito. What's it called?
Miguelito.
Yes.
San Miguelito.
San Miguelito. Yeah, that's right. And it was in this gated community, and I stayed in a room, and this room was a nice sized room. Some of them offered their own bathroom. And I kid you not, how much was I paying? Less than £30 per night. I think, no, it was less than that. I think it was probably like 25, 26. And I was like, this room, if it was in England,
100.
you would be paying easily £850 per month.
What?
And now actually it's probably gone up. The prices are going up to like 900,000 a month just for a room. So I was so happy when I found that. And the owner, that's what I said about Panamanians. He was actually Panamanian Chinese, the owner.
Mm-hmm.
But he was living in the house as well. But he was so welcoming. But that's just like the Panamanian thing. Like people are so welcoming, so kind. They just want to make you comfortable, and that was just a really, really good experience. And that was my first time in Panama. That was a room.
Imagine.
It wasn't a hotel or anything. It was an Airbnb room, and actually I had an amazing experience.
And you could have stayed there if you wanted more time.
Yeah.
Imagine that paying so little.
Yeah, people actually like rent out their rooms from us. So I was only staying there for like 2 or 3 weeks. It was 2 weeks I was there for, but I was so comfortable and he was so welcoming. Yeah.
Now that you know the easiness of the market in Panama, do you want to invest? Do you want to rent?
Actually,
You want to buy a property?
I was speaking to my mom about this because I was telling her about all the opportunities in Panama for investing. So I think in the future it would be something that definitely is on my mind, especially because compared to England anyways, the market value of some of these amazing properties you find is so much lower.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't see why I wouldn't want to invest in the future. And Panama is being built up and built up. So yeah, in the future I can definitely see that happening. And actually, in one of my podcasts, I did an interview with Oliver Lean. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. And he was talking about the investment opportunities in Panama in real estate and how you can literally invest with as little as $12,000.
Mhm.
So when I found that out as well, I was that really does.
That is 4 months of rent in Britain, right?
Yeah, depends where you're renting, especially if it's a house. Yeah,
Imagine
that
that.
can be 4 months of rent in England for sure. Especially if you're living in the city. We're living in the city and
Everything is so close.
Yeah.
You have a bus.
Yeah.
It's easy to have a car over here. There's a lot of people, and I love that about Panama. There's a lot of people that come here to retire.
Yeah.
And they come from those type of places
Yeah.
that you have a higher income, and they invest over here.
Yeah.
They have beautiful houses, and they say, it was so cheap, and I love it. They have their car,
Yeah.
and they live so comfortably. So it's amazing. It's an amazing opportunity. I want to know, what is your goal? What do you think is the goal here in Panama for you?
the goal, like
Yeah.
like investment opportunities in the future would be really cool. Other goals in Panama. Well,
What would you like to do? Where would you like to go?
well, I would like to see more of Panama in general. I've only been to Bocas del Toro and well, the city,
Like some beaches, yeah.
and to Boga actually, which is literally just a 30-minute boat ride. I would like to definitely explore more, and I think that's my goal for now. Like future property investment, finding more about that, and just exploring more Panama.
There's a lot of people that open tourism businesses over here
Yeah.
because tourism is amazing over here. They have tours.
Yeah,
You can go by boat ride.
yeah.
There are some amazing beaches.
They do a lot
They
of
are,
events as well.
yeah. They have a lot of greenery around mountains. They have lakes. They have rivers. So Panama is a little paradise. They have a little bit of everything, and I love that. I want to know.
Celebration box with a bunch of mixed sweets. You can pick and choose what you want to.
Yeah, if you want to live by a landscape, you can do that. If you want to live in the city, you can do that, and it's not far away. I've been to the U.S. or some other places that are huge,
Yeah.
and you drive 6-7 hours
Hours
just to go somewhere. Over here, you drive 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours maximum. At max, you drive 3-4 hours. That's nothing for some of y'all.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, and you can be in the other part of the country. Amazing.
Yeah, because Panama is so thin.
It's so tiny.
You're between two waters as well.
Yeah,
But it's really cool just how versatile Panama is as a country.
yeah, I love that. What advice would you give to someone who is considering moving here?
Ooh, that's a good one. Advice I would give. One, I would say, don't be afraid to embrace change. I think that's the biggest thing. People are so comfortable in their bubble as well, and they're so comfortable how things are back home that when they come, they kind of bring that with them as
Yeah.
well. Don't be afraid to embrace change because actually that helps you to grow. It helps you to learn a lot of things. Like I've learned a lot of things from coming out of my comfort zone, and I've had to come out of my comfort zone so much in terms of maybe even if it is speaking a sentence in Spanish to people. Like if I, for example, like I said, I made friends with my security guard in my building. If I didn't take the time to say, "Hola, ¿cómo estás?" Like,
So simple.
Is everything good?
Yeah.
But like that opens up people, and then as well, people through that I've been able to have opportunities like doing interviews for the podcast because I've been open to change and open to trying new things. So don't be afraid to try new things when you come to Panama. Also, if you're looking to live in Panama, I would say test the waters. Come for like a couple of months.
Vacations, yeah.
Yeah, do that. Because sometimes you might want to get straight into it and then you find yourself like not necessarily wanting to go back home, but I would just say test the waters because it might not be for everyone,
Yeah.
and that's okay. It might just be your amazing holiday destination, but if you want to live here, that's something different. So definitely test the waters. Test the areas as well. You might think you want to live in the city, but actually you're looking for Bocate. You
Yeah.
might think you want to live in Bocate, but actually you're looking for Bocas del Toro. So test the waters as well, for sure. That's advice. Oh, and as well as that, if you're coming as a family, like with children, I would say, even if your children don't know the language, don't be afraid to connect them and to put them into like
Yeah.
formal school.
Into school,
Connect them
yeah.
with children, because don't just
They
look at
learn
international-
so fast.
Exactly. I've seen it myself. You don't have to just put them in international schools either. Look at your options because you find that a lot of schools in Panama teach English, and like I said, the whole culture in Panama is very welcoming as well. So I
Yeah.
would say, just don't be afraid for change and don't be afraid to come out of your comfort zone. That's the biggest thing.
And the good thing, as we said previously, there are so many communities over here. If you think you don't have a community, you
There
need to
is.
look very further,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of embassies over here, and they have groups of people, and they make huge like parades and parties and all of that. So don't be afraid to, you know, dive deeper in those areas.
Yeah.
Is there something you wish you had known before moving here?
Well,
Tough questions.
I wish. What do I wish I knew? Well, I wish I knew Spanish a bit more.
That doesn't count.
um, what do I wish I knew? Oh, I wish I knew. That's a good question. I think because there's lots of things I wish I knew. Um, actually, I can give you an example. I wish I knew about the food. Okay, it sounds weird.
What about the
For me,
food?
the food. Okay, so I'm used to certain foods back in England,
Like how?
like roasted sausages. They don't have that in Panama. You have like the American hot dog,
Yeah.
whereas I'm used to like, if you're British, you're not talking about like the roasted British sausages.
I need to try that.
No, you need to try it. But like, that's something like people should research as well, because that could help you in making your decision on where you want to go.
Yeah.
I know it sounds so weird. But
It's
things like
something
food,
very curious, you know?
it is. If you're particular as well, like
If you don't like spicy food.
exactly. There's always something for someone. But
Yeah.
if you know that you have a particular diet or you're not really open to certain things, I
To
would say-
vegetables and fruits, for example.
exactly. I would say research your foods. I would say if you have children with certain allergies or certain things, definitely do your research before you come. I also wish I knew how Panamanians drive. No.
What?
Okay, because like when I first came to Panama, I thought a certain way of driving everyone knew.
Well, for example, you drive in the
Drive.
opposite side. That is completely different. Culture shock.
Exactly. We drive on the opposite side. But you would be crossing and a driver would like just straight, and people don't stop at zebra crossings. And in England, that's a big thing because people's happy. You stop at a zebra crossing, let people cross. People like, for me, navigating how to cross the road. I wish I knew that sooner, because when I first came to Panama, I kid you not, I promise you this happened. I stood at a sidewalk. I swear 7 minutes, a full 7 minutes had passed. People were crossing as cars were going by, and I was still stood there like this.
When
And
is
no one would help
the
me cross
you
the road.
you will say like, when is the light going to change?
Because the cars kept driving.
That is a culture shock. I know that.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it sounds so weird, the things I say, but you should read like little things like this. It's good to know, because
If you're not brave enough,
you need to cross the road.
yeah.
For sure.
The good thing is that Panama will bring out the braveness in you.
It will.
Yes.
Oh, so that's the thing. Like when I go back home now, I'm just like,
Yeah. You go ahead.
I'm crossed now. So because I gained the confidence, that actually gave me the confidence.
I want to see you also in England saying buenos dias to everybody. Good morning, how are you? And people look at you like, what?
Only a few people would respond. Maybe more the elderly would respond.
But that is good. You're bringing something new to the table.
Yeah.
People should absorb that.
That's something I like though. I wish that was more incorporated into British culture.
You see,
because-
you bring something good from Latin America to England.
Because you know what, as well, if someone said that to you in England, it's normally like, it sounds bad, but normally it's someone probably a bit drunk. They're saying it because they're a bit drunk or they're not mentally stable.
Yeah.
Whereas in Panama, everyone just says it, and
Yeah.
it's really nice. Sometimes I've experienced this. You're not having a very good day, and someone says buenos dias, and you're literally just like, I just want to go home. They say buenos dias, and actually it changes your mood because you're like, oh, buenos dias.
Yeah.
And
It
you
gets
know-
you out of yourself.
Yeah, and then you realize, I feel like people in Panama are more aware of other people just because they're so used to saying hello to everyone,
Yeah.
and that really does help. And I think one more thing that I would say, it's a bit of a con, but I wish I knew how. It's a bit of a con for me. I wish I knew that kind of. So okay, when I first came, it's a bit of a con, it's a bit of a culture shock.
Mhm.
In England, people don't walk through cars trying to sell things.
Okay, yeah.
So I wish I was aware of that, because at first it feels
You
like,
got
is someone trying
scared.
to come into my car?
No.
So like, yeah, these are things I wish I knew. Like people are generally like just trying to make a living for themselves.
Yeah.
They're literally doing the best they could do. So I wish I knew those things, because sometimes when you come from another country into Panama and you see that, or you see people dancing in the middle of the road trying to earn a living, sometimes you can be a bit biased.
Yeah.
Not necessarily have the best thoughts for people or think negative, when actually, when you realize people are just trying to make a living for themselves, and I don't know, you learn to appreciate that more.
Yeah.
Just learn to respect people. I think that can just really help with your mindset. So I wish I knew that in the beginning, because at first I was very nervous about that, because I wasn't used to it. It was something completely new for me. But yeah, I think those are things I wish I knew.
And the good thing is that they are preferring that than stealing.
Yes, that's the thing. Actually, I don't know. I haven't really experienced or like read much about like um stealing in Panama. Actually, in the city especially, there's not so much crime
Yeah.
like that. Like in England, you can literally see a police car blazing across the street. Whereas here, I haven't experienced it.
It's a pretty calm country.
Yeah, it's pretty hard in terms of that.
For me, this is a personal opinion. I consider Panama to be one of the safest Latin America countries, because you hear a lot in the news about some other countries that they kill 5 people in a day and they stole something from the bank. And over here, the most you're gonna listen is a car crash in the highway.
Yeah.
That's
To see what I mean about the driving.
yeah, but I mean, some things happen.
Yeah.
But it's not like a huge car crash. It's that somebody lost control.
Yeah.
And, and that's it. And nobody died. Nothing happened. It's pretty chill. That's what I love about it. You can get out at 3 a.m. in the morning to party, and nothing is gonna happen.
People are quite relaxed.
Yeah, this is how. If you're not
Coming for love or for work, this is also a very good place to have vacations and party and all of that. And people love it because it's really safe. So we are coming to the end of the questions. This interview has been amazing. I want to hear your comments, guys. I want to hear how you like the interviews, and what other questions would you like me to do. I want to know, what is the common misconception about people in Panama?
Common misconception.
Yeah. Something that you see, that you thought, maybe you heard, and you thought, this and that about Panamanians, and then you realize that it's not like that.
Well, for me, it wasn't even necessarily Panama. It was the whole like Latin America thing.
Yeah.
Growing up in England, for me, it was Latin people are very fiery and can be very loud, but actually, it's not for the reasons people think. I think Latin people, especially in Panama, they are passionate about things.
Yeah.
And
We like soccer, for example.
exactly, like I've seen how I've experienced it myself. And when people say they're loud, it's not that they're loud because they're
Rude or something. Yeah.
exactly. It's more that they're loud because they're enjoying themselves, you know. And actually, that one thing I didn't realize so much, and especially in Panama as well, like family and friends are a big thing in the culture.
Yes.
So it's not just like one; it's like it can be 10 people at a table.
More than 10 people.
So, whereas like England, I feel like families are smaller. Well, I'm Caribbean, so we have a loud family, anyways. But yeah, like these things are not. When you come to Panama, you shouldn't make prejudgments. You should see things for themselves, for yourselves, and make your own mind about things. Make your own mind up about things, because people are, from what I experience, very loving. In every culture, you're gonna have someone maybe who's a bit more leave me alone, or I don't want to be
A
around you.
loner.
Exactly. That's more in every country. You're gonna find someone like that. But in general, people are very welcoming, warm. And also, I think another thing was like that some people say like how Panamanians can be very like shut up or keep to themselves. I don't think that's true.
No.
They've been very open. And maybe that was probably one person's experience with another person. You can't let one person's experience or your one experience determine like a whole set of people. You just have to figure out things for yourself and experience it for yourself.
Yeah.
And then you realize actually these misconceptions and things you heard about are not true.
And the thing is, we are all different, but we share some things in common.
Exactly.
And we are all very loving. We are all very talkative.
Yeah. And of course, each country has its pros and cons. That's
Yeah.
everywhere. You're going to find something bad everywhere. You're going to find things that are so amazing everywhere. But for me, I feel like Panama is a generally safe country, safe place.
And we welcome everybody.
Yes.
We don't have such things as marked racism or
I think I've experienced, actually, I haven't really experienced racism,
Yeah.
especially the way I have back home.
there's a lot of
I've experienced
colored people
more-
here.
Actually, I haven't experienced classism in general, but I have seen it with my eyes, like people being kind of like marked because of maybe what they wear or something. I've seen that way in their eyes. My family has. So that's one con that I would say for Panama. But in terms of everything else, people are very open and welcoming. Yeah, like people try to help one another. So
Now, the last question. The last one, the conclusion. I love it. How do you think Panama has changed you?
oh, so in many ways, like I said, I met my husband. I feel like in terms of in general, I've become more patient. I need more patience though, but I have become more patient.
The tip of the iceberg.
Exactly, so yeah, I've become more patient and I've learned to appreciate people's cultures more as well. Like, I've always appreciated people's cultures,
Diversity and all of
but
that.
it's helped me appreciate it more because I just realized how even I had the misconception before coming to like a Latin American country in general. I didn't realize how diverse Latin America could be.
Yeah.
I only thought, oh, I need more, the Western world more diverse. So when I came, I realized actually you can be a Black Latino, you can be
Yeah.
Caucasian Latino, you could be Indian Latino, and I didn't realize that.
Look at me.
You could be Chinese Latino. I didn't know these things. I didn't know they existed. So
Yeah.
when I came to Panama and I was able to find out more about these things, I'm like, wow, like when I hear all these things, or like the media wants to depict a certain thing of what a Latino should be, or Latin people should be, and when I came to Panama, I realized actually Panamanians, Latin people are more than what the media puts it out, puts them out to be, portrays them to be. Like I said, fiery or whatever. Like people are more than that. So being able to see that for myself, it has helped me to grow because you appreciate culture more. And one thing I love so much about Latin culture in general in Panama that I've seen is, like I said, how they value family and people, and it's just really nice to see because in the Western world, people don't really do that so much.
Yeah.
It's more bullying sometimes. So it's just really nice to see how people are. Yeah, and as well as that, it's also having to grow in terms of not being scared to grow. No, to grow, yeah, and not being scared to face new challenges, because if I didn't make that step to come to Panama, I would have never experienced half the stuff I'm experiencing now.
It's amazing. Panama has changed you in and outside. It has changed your point of view. It has changed your values. It has given you love.
Yeah.
So Panama gave you a lot of things, and I'm glad to hear about that. So we came to the conclusion of the interview, to the podcast. So, Monica, thank you so much. Now you guys learn more about Monica.
Yeah, now you know more about me.
Yeah.
Interviewing people, now you know more about. So yeah, it's been awesome, and I'm sure you guys have enjoyed having Alondra as your host for a change.
Yeah.
She's very bubbly, very outgoing. We love that.
I have a lot of new things to learn, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
So yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, guys. Subscribe.
And we'll see you at the next one, guys.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
If you have any inquiries or anything, you can go to www.ndm.com.pa and the legal team can help you with anything you want to know more about. So yeah.
Thank you so
That's
much,
all.
guys.
Thank
See
you,
you at the next episode.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us on Life Abroad Panama. You can find us on all major podcast platforms. Curious about our guests? Just click the links. Looking for legal support? Reach us through our website. And make sure to watch more videos or check out your visa requirements.